by the power of Grayskull.
Hey everybody, it's a Review Revolution, back at you again. And as some of you may have noted, there was no Maddie Game Day video yesterday. The reason for that being that, according to UPS, Whiplash, the Masters of the Universe Club Eternia figure, was well on his way to be delivered today. So I was already on his way. There was no one else I was going to be getting from the site yesterday. So that, along with the fact I needed a little bit of a break after Sunday, decided to hold off and wait till I got him. And I did. And let's take a look. So we've got Whiplash, the white mailer box, the adult collector, Masters of the Universe logo at the top, and the figure inside. Whiplash, the evil tail thrashing warrior. Very, very cool. Very nice shot at the original. Typical Masters of the Universe packaging. After Orko and Molar, it's nice to be back to just a regular style card, regular size. On the back, it's got some of the other figures. Now, I don't know if this was intentional or strictly by accident, but I do like that on the back of the card for Whiplash, everyone on the back is one of Skeletor's minions, if not Skeletor himself. So Skeletor, Scareglow, Trapjaw, who was re-released this month actually, so for anyone who missed him the first time, there he is. Evelyn, Webstore, and of course, Whiplash. No one knew. I would like for them to start putting some of the previews where the Comic-Con saw the preview photos of a lot of the figures. I'd like to see them. I'd like to start seeing them. Please put them on there. I already have these. Show me some new ones. On the bio, now of course he has the portrait, which when you look at the portrait of him here, you look at the face, I don't know how well you can see it, it doesn't seem to match either the head that he comes with, kind of the vintage head, or what seems to be the 2002 head. So, at this point, I'm wondering if Whiplash may yet get a third head at some point. But Whiplash, again, evil tail thrashing warrior. Excuse me. Real name Torrent Krazut. Following their father's untimely death, Torrent grew up bitter under the rule of his older brother Ceratus. After years of brooding in Subterranea, he struck a deal with a surface dweller known as Keldar, and helped lead his forces in a raid against Keldor's armies during the Great Unrest. Randor's armies, excuse me, not Keldor, Randor. Although Keldor's plan failed, Torrent was banished from Subterranea for betraying his people. He was taken in by his former employer and quickly rose through the ranks, staying with Keldor even after his transformation into Skeletor. Serving as his chief Brute Squad enforcer, his thick hide and stubborn intelligence have made him more than a match for most of the Masters of the Universe, often leaving only He-Man to defeat him. Whiplash uses his thrashing tail of doom and destruction. So that is the background on Whiplash. Very, very cool character. And very typical packaging, including a little dimple. And air holes. And brick pattern. And we'll take a moment, get him out of the pack, and have him some fun. Be right back. Alright everybody, we're back, and we've got Whiplash open and out of the pack. And there is so much to talk about. I'm not even sure where to start. There's a lot to talk about with Whiplash. Actually, Okay. Well, first, taking a look at the figure, getting a look at him. I love his colors. I love the paint on him. I mean, I'm a fan of green characters. I like green characters, and so Whiplash, of course, was going to be one of the ones I was going to like almost irregardless. But the fact that they've gone through and given him a nice fade along his chest and over his shoulders, on his the chin and his head. Really, really great. I mean, I love it. It is beautiful. It's really, really nice. Of course, as far as sculpt goes, I mean, there's some obvious sculpt differences. They've taken the legs and added in a few ridges along the side, as well as along the boots, to which they've added some scale texture, and given him a whole new set of feet. Even sculpted the bottom of the feet, which is really impressive. There's no peg hole, so as far as him standing on one of the Masters of the Universe dioramas, okay, yeah, he's not going to stand on the peg, but he's got a good wide stance with those big feet. Very, very nice. And I love the fact they did go back and give him these feet. I'll show you why in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's got the ridges on the legs going all the way down, the feet. Also, when you look at his forearms, he actually has the fin on the forearms. Now, this fin was pretty common on evil Master Universe characters. The bad guys very often had this kind of fin forearm type of thing. Skeletor had it. Merman had it. It was very common. Even Zodak did, the original Zodak. For the Classics line, with Skeletor at least, they just gave him ridges to go along the bottom of the arm. But here on Whiplash, they actually went ahead and brought back kind of these fins, and all the way around. It's just not on the top of the bottom, but it's all over. And it's a really great reinterpretation of the idea. I love how it came out looking. One thing that's kind of a trademark look on Whiplash is his kind of striped armor. And, well, first, I mean, when you look at the body, you can see, again, the scale work that's on the boots is worked all the way into the torso, up to the shoulder, neck, and head. The arms and the legs themselves, just, the smooth plastic. But you can see that the scale work on the torso works all the way up. Now, the chest piece, his kind of bands on his chest armor, this isn't actually sculpted on. It is a separate piece, much like you'd find on Hordak or something like that. It's just a sculpted armor piece that's kind of put over his body. It does limit the crunch slightly, but not terribly. And of course, it doesn't go far enough down to affect the twist. Now, you may have noticed the tail thrashing warrior doesn't have his tail, and that's because when I popped him out of the pack, his tail actually popped off. It didn't break, it just popped off. And it's something where I can just pop it back in place, and there you go. Very, very good. Now, along those same lines, when I first got him out, because of the new forearm that he seems to have, the hinge on the elbow looks a little warped. And it's in place, it's sturdy, it's not popping off, but you have to kind of give it a squeeze to kind of get it back in place. I don't know if it's just mine, I hope it is, but it really had me a little worried that, in fact, this whole forearm would just kind of fall out. It hasn't, but you can kind of see what I mean there. There's a little bit of a gap in that. So watch it if you get one like that. Just be careful. On his articulation, I mean, taking a look at the head, just get a closer look at the head, you see the ridges on his forehead. Of course, the ridges are themed throughout, but he has the ridges on his forehead that go all the way down. Oops. And then into the back on the tail with little nubs and other things on there. Coming all the way to the end. Of course, I was saying the scale work on his chin and his face looks really good. The head does turn. It is a little loose. It's not a bobblehead, but again, doesn't take much work for it to move. Side to side, slide up and down, not much. The arm comes out again, twist to the bicep, elbow, and wrist. Already talked about the torso. Leg comes out again, knee, boot, which is very tight, the foot, got a hinge, and a swivel. Which doesn't really think, I don't think he really needs a swivel, again, for how big his feet are. I mean, he's got a good stance. Now, as way as our accessories go, he does. Oh, and not to forget, the tail actually has a twist here, whereas the original had the rubber band waist that would actually let him snap, would actually kind of snap around, giving a thrashing action. This one just has articulation down here, so he's still the thrashing warrior. But as I was saying, on his accessories, he comes with the second head, the 2000X head, which, according to Matty, they've said that they are not going to be doing the 2000X designs any longer. They said the whole idea was to go ahead and do this in a vintage series, and that the 2000X line was retired. So Whiplash may in fact be the last figure we see that has kind of this, the actual look to it. But you can see there's the slightly wider face and teeth. Great beady eyes, and of course, got the ridges on the head as well. Slightly more pointed horns instead of just sort of little nubby things here on the vintage. Whiplash comes with his classic axe, which is very much like the one that came with Castle Grayskull, if I remember correctly. And lastly, he comes with his, I guess, sword, dagger, Klingon batleth, whatever you want to call it. And apparently this goes in this hand, which is slightly wider for him to hold it. And then, of course, his spear goes in this one. Overall, a really great figure. Whichever head you choose to go with, whichever style is your preference, still a really nice one to get. I love the idea of them adding in that extra armor piece to kind of give him the vintage look. Whiplash was is one of the few figures from the Masters of the Universe vintage line that I still have, and he's not packed away someplace impossible to get to. So we'll go ahead and close out with a look at the two of them. I certainly thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.